wonderful world. It's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and I'm here to do the weekly weather astrological forecast. I'm going to be weaving in the moons that are going to be happening because I find it very important to talk about the moon energy because it's fast, it's dynamic, and it's very felt by everybody. So with that, I'm going to talk a little bit about my impressions first overall of what I've been feeling in the collective, because I feel like it is the theme that's coming out in the weekly astrology. It's going to be the astrology forecast for February 26th to March 6th. So with that, my impressions, there's a lot of things that I've gotten. One of them, which it seems a little harsh, but I got the message that people and things may be passing, especially in this week. And I mean that like on a very personal level. I'm not talking about some of the greater things that are going on in the world, although it could maybe apply to that. And why I say that is because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and it teaches us to let go and to soften and let go of the material in particular, because that sometimes can keep us in ego. And it lets us go into the higher source, into the higher realm, into the connected energy, and being one with all and love. And so I had that feeling, and I feel like the people that are letting go are going in because they are ready to release. It's not out of fear. It's like, I'm releasing because I am ready to connect with source again in a more in-depth maybe way without the material body. It's also, if you think about it, as far as seasons in the Northern Hemisphere, it's winter here, but it's a mutable sign. It's that last, right before spring. So there's things shifting and changing, again, softening and letting go. And it's not like, fall where there's the harsh death. It's, because that's a death with like things like being into like, not nothingness, but there's life out there, but it's not like being reborn in the winter. Right now, we're changing into from the winter where it's harshness, and we're getting ready to be reborn. And that's, a theme of Pisces too. It's got its own rebirthing process, because when a soul, some believe that, it leaves the body and it joins its, the energetic field, spirit, souls, whatever you believe, or you don't have to believe it at all. But some say that it sits there for a while, and if it wants to be reborn, again, it depends on your belief, it then comes back out in the spring. Energy comes back out in the spring. However you want to say it, it comes back out and being reemerged. So we're in that element of, a beautiful release of material. Material is very important, but if you want to go with the cycles, you have to know that sometimes it has to be released. I mean, nature shows us all the time that nothing lasts forever, but it is reborn into new. So really, that's the main thing that I've got for my intuition. And then going into the astrological weather, so Capricorn, the moon is in Capricorn on Saturday and moving into Sunday, and then at the end of Sunday, the moon moves into Aquarius. So this Capricorn moon, there's a lot to say about it. It's bringing in a sense of responsibility. And so we're bringing responsibility to family, to self, to what it needs to be doing, to make sure that the people around them are feeling, supported, just like, say like a head of a household or a head of a society or a tribe. Like, they're responsible. People are looking to them, and they make some sacrifices for that collective. And so people may be asked to be sacrificing some things, but I feel like it ties into the theme of the letting go with Pisces, because there's some harmonious aspects on Saturday with Neptune and Jupiter with the moon. And so it's like, okay, you're responsible, but you have all these duties, but you also are getting in some inspiration here from source. That's, Pisces, like you are loved on a deeper level. The things you're doing is a greater thing. And there's an opening into a greater love of that responsibility. You're seeing how it supports the greater situation. I also think it asks this moon in Capricorn, okay, maybe you need to release some of that responsibility now. Maybe you need to play a little bit, have a little bit of fun, express yourself, by connecting to a source. Often the things that are created within that Pisces season and the Pisces sign is it's expression by connection, like by divine connection. Like it's just channeling and just making. It's not a thought process. It's just an experience. And so these planets are asking the moon to, be more in the experience and create and kind of loosen up a little bit. You know, these responsibilities make people uptight. Sometimes it's heavy, right? Sometimes they have to be the one that everyone goes to while they're off going having fun. So, you know, lighten up a little bit, share the load, and also know that Source is supporting you while you're doing this. When it feels too much, ask for higher guidance, whatever that is for you, and higher support. And it's a great day for that and a great reminder for that. Absolutely. And then on Sunday, I feel like by the end of the week, we'll feel it way more, but we're feeling this transformation happening. With Pisces, it's transformation, like I said, into, you know, material, into spirit, really. And then we've got the story of the Capricorn going on, where there's all these planets connecting to Pluto, beside, you know, the moon's in there right now, which it'll connect, but it's just like, okay, it's time to really let go of these structures. Please let go of these outdated things and outdated modalities. And just like I said, we were just about releasing maybe some of that burden. Maybe that's one of the things that really has to go. And realizing, like, when we get so stuck in that weight and of the responsibility, that maybe our actions and our thoughts are not always coming from the purest place. Right? Like, that could be a toxin, right? Like, well, I have to do this because, and then there's a grudge and there's bitterness about it, potentially, right? That's like a lower octave of that Capricorn energy, but maybe that needs to go, right? Like, where are you maybe sacrificing too much, and then in hand, you know, lashing out at others because of that's what you're doing. And it has to do with, again, responsibilities, like what you're doing with others and leading. And we all have those places in our life, every single one of us. So it's a good time to examine it, because at the end of this week, there's going to be a call for action, a call for forward movement. So this is that softening, that ripening for sure. So then we move into the Monday. So like we said, the Aquarius will shift it. The moon will shift into Aquarius at the end of Sunday. We're having that softening. We go from Earth, the moon in Earth, to then air. So again, there was a stability, there was a groundedness, and then now we got ideas, we got thoughts, we got ingenuity. We're gonna do some things. We're gonna be unique, right? We're gonna be the individual. It's no longer about sacrificing things and, you know, stepping up. It's like, well, I'm gonna step up, but I'm gonna do it my way. You know, those rules you had, some were good, some have got to go, and that's the next theme. Some things just will need to go as far as those rules. Aquarius helps it out. Pisces is helping it out. So with that, these thoughts might be a little serious. So Aquarius is very good at analyzing. It's very focused, and it's got very ingenious, like, sometimes it's like radical ideas that are totally dead on. Saturn and Mercury are conjunct there, so we're thinking about it, right? What's next for us in this larger collective? And I think there's going to be some inspiration, like, again, not in that Pisces way, but just like, you know, pulling together different strings and pieces, and you're feeling responsible for that. Like, what am I going to be doing here now that these walls are getting torn down, now that some of these structures are getting purged? What are we going to rebuild here? Get those inspirations, right? And really start to listen to those, because this is an energy that's here for a little while. It's not as long as some of the others, but it's here. And, you know, if it keeps coming up in your life, it's asking you, this energy opens and invites you to do this. Like, that's the beauty of astrology. You can see where things are. And if there's energy going in that direction, when you make some of these choices, I feel personally that the universe will give you an extra little bit of oomph and a push. But like, yeah, this is what we're thinking about too. So here you go. Instead of maybe fighting some of the currents that are happening of the energy. Let's see what else we have here. So what that is on Monday, and it's just, I really like it. And also I saw too that our individuality will help us get through this world and give us new confidence. Some people may be fearful they don't have what they need, or they just don't feel like they're strong enough or bold enough to maybe take on a challenge that's in front of them. It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be mental. But Aquarius is giving you that confidence. It's like, you know, your individuality, your uniqueness is what's going to get you through this. So use that, especially on Monday. Then we move into Tuesday, and there's a little bit of energy there where the moon and the sun and Uranus are sextile. And so with that, it's not a moon aspect, but it's a harmonious, but it is just like this, again, kind of like, you know, since Pisces is letting go of things, but also like, you know, merging with things, it's different than Taurus. Taurus is about the material. So again, I feel like, you know, and with Uranus there, it's something radical, something different. And it itself is like, okay, this needs to change. Maybe not necessarily let go of, but like this needs to change how you work with the planet, how you work with your body, with your resources, your values has to change. And this has been a slow theme that's been going on for at least about 3 years here, and it's got a few more years. So what is being changed in your material world and your value that Pisces is bringing in, that softening, be like, hey, like here's source telling you like it's all okay, but also like maybe use that energy, like tapping into universal love. And then that can give you some inspiration as to how you value yourself. Like, oh, my spirituality is valuable, right? And a valuable resource for yourself. Like it keeps me, you know, healthy and happy and connected. I mean, it can be so many things, and I know we've talked about it, but so there might be some unexpectedness though, like, and there might also be, I had to see like unexpected art being created, really beautiful things, like because Taurus is material, it can be like, all right, we're gonna make this out of this, this, and this, and it's totally just this beautiful piece of thing that is totally channeled by source. And then we move into Wednesday, which is the new moon in Pisces, and I've done a video on that already. It's quite lengthy, and I'm not going to talk all about it here. It's very dynamic. It is an intense new moon, and it is a closing of a larger chapter. So if you're interested in that, go watch that video. But what I'm going to say about it is that new moons, usually people like to bring in new things because that moon is open for energy to come in. So people call in new things. What I'm feeling from this new moon is what you're calling it is the release, actually. I think that's going to be the biggest source. It doesn't make much sense because that's usually a full moon, but the gift of Pisces is the release and being connected. And there's so many aspects saying like, we need to get this out. Let it go of the material, purge out the toxins, like getting rid of things that don't serve you. And it's going to be intense. And it's going to, I mean, there's also that energy of calling in. I feel like maybe the next day or the day after, but it is about release. And when you let it go, you have more space for the things you want, the positive things that you can call in into your life. So, you know, be kind to yourself, be kind to everybody, but, you know that we are all ultimately supported by, you know, a greater thing and whatever that is for you. And if you don't, I also support that too. But you know, it's calling us to at least be able to let it go, right? Even if you don't believe in a higher source, it's like, well, you know, none of this matters because in the end, we do not stay with our materials or as material. So however you want to look at it. And then moving into Thursday, we have the moon. Let's see here. The moon is still in Pisces. Let's see. And on Thursday, I just think of the aspects. So I was talking in my new moon video about the Mars, Venus, and Pluto conjunction. And that is part of the new moon. And it is going to be exact on Thursday. So that purging is going to be very cathartic, whatever it is, it's happening. And then the moon does shift into Aries. So remember I was talking about that action. So that conjunction, that exact conjunction happens like really close to and right before the moon moves into Aries. And so it's kind of like, it's like almost like a baby being born, or like it's just something that's like, okay, it's out. And then, you know, all of a sudden the moon, which was water and release, and it's like it goes into this fire sign, into Aries, which is like, all right, we're going to take action. This is what we're doing. We're going to do this, this, and this. I know what I want. I know what I need. And, you know, it's just like charge forward. It's the warrior. It's ready now. We've released, right? We've let go. And this is like this energy of renewal, freshness, sometimes like childlike, you know, even like enthusiasm, like I'm going in there. I have a new energy and it's really positive. You know, it can be combative sometimes, you know, and with the aspect right before it, you know, I've talked about this a little bit, like hopefully people with this new moon and these aspects don't get overly combative, but when that moon moves into Aries, you know, depending on how you're processing this, could be combative as well. But I think it's something positive. Honestly, if you have been doing that release work, and letting things go and finding your responsibilities and what you want to let go of that and realizing that, you're supported, then you can call things in and be, confident in yourself and moving forward and the challenges that are coming at you. You're like, I know I'm supported. I was just there and now I'm here and it's a whole new world for me, right? That's my hope. The moon does conjunct Chiron. So again, there might feel a little bit of doubt about these things, but if you really did some of this work, I think you'd be like, oh, yeah, you know what? And you remember that individuality that you found that supports you? Like, oh, wait, that's right. I'm unique over here. Just like brush it aside. Absolutely. And that's on Friday, that the moon conjuncts Chiron. So just brush it aside. And then we move into Saturday and it is dynamic. Once again, I was writing lots of notes here. And so the moon, again, is in Aries, right? It's taking charge, it's going forward and wants to start things. Hopefully it's good things. New projects would be ideal, right? Not new wars. Aries needs to do something, so give it something to do. Give yourself something to do productive in a positive way if you have the energy. On Saturday, the Sun conjuncts Jupiter. So while you're being active, remember it's still Pisces season and it's like, okay, yeah, remember that dream? Like, great day to dance, great day to write, channel, meditate, just, being with source. It's a great day for that. And it's very expansive. So you might have a lot of dreams. Listen to your dreams. Listen to the information you're getting through the whole Pisces season. Absolutely. There's stuff coming in for certain. And dreams are our way of processing things and sometimes they're receiving messages. And so the more you practice remembering them and understanding them, they can be a gift and a tool for you. So try to utilize that instead of just go, oh, that dream was silly. Like there might be symbols and meanings in there that are really important to you that can help you grow, move, create all those wonderful things. And then also on Saturday, the moon sextiles Saturn and Mercury in Aquarius. So again, like this is again an action point. So we've been thinking about, right, what we need to do to change the collective and how we can bring our individuality into doing all these things. That moon is like, okay, you thought about it, you figured it out, let's go do it. Let's take charge, we're going to do it. So again, a really good active point, especially if you want to do things with friends, groups, for the larger community to get things going, because the words are going to be, I would say direct and to the point. It's not always Aquarius, but with Saturn there, it's like, okay, this is what we need to do. And then, Aquarius will bring in that creative energy of like, okay, well, this is out of left field, but this is going to totally work. So let's do this. Also, the moon squares, let's see here, Pluto. And so, yeah, that's tense. That's tense for sure. We have these feelings of wanting to do things going forward and out. And Pluto is about going in, digging in. And, and it's going to say, hey, slow down. Did you do what you needed to do? Did you remember to get rid of those things that you needed to purge about, authority and structure, like we were talking about earlier? Did you work with that? Because you can't move forward until you do that. Like you're going to actually stop and redo things potentially, or I'm going to stop you from moving forward. So there might be a little bit of sense of like, oh, you need to make sure that you really get done what you need to do in that work of responsibility. Like responsibility maybe calling you or having to still do some of that release work. And then on Sunday, the moon was into Taurus. And so I'm not going to talk too much about the Taurus moon. But what I can say is we moved from, in the beginning of the week, an Earth moon, which is a cardinal Earth moon, and it was waning, so releasing. And then we went through the week, and now we've got a fixed moon. So it's fixed energy. It's like something was started. Now this is something that's going to keep it and maintain it. So throughout that week, again, of material. So, and it's also going to be waxing. So it's going to be growing. Okay. There was a release, starting to release something, and now we're going to fix and grow something and move forward with. But what's interesting about that day is that both Mars and Venus move into Aquarius. So we had the shift, right, of the moon. So that's one thing, and that happens every 2.5 days. So that's not uncommon. But Mars and Venus. And so Mars is fairly quick unless it goes retrograde. So, it hasn't been hanging out forever in Capricorn, but it definitely was giving, even during our Aquarius time, a very more Capricornian season. And then Venus has been there for a long time, for several months. It's not natural for Venus to be in a sign for that long unless there's a retrograde, which is what happened. And so Venus is kind of like free at last. I am done with that. Capricorn is not Venus's favorite place. It is, it'll do what it needs to do there, but it's just like, okay, Aquarius is a little more lighthearted in its own way. And it doesn't always play, but it at least gives a little more room for inspiration, ingenuity, and also like friendships at least. Like, oh yeah, let's go hang out with some friends. Like, I was way too responsible for these like last 4 months. I need to go. Like, let's have some fun here. So, but they are going to conjunct as well. So like, you can think of these as the lovers if you want, or the yin and the yang. So like one's tempering the other a little bit. Going in there, I would say maybe Mars is a little stronger. It helps add another bit of oomph. Like, so even though we're out of Aquarius season, it kind of now pumps up Aquarius a little bit because there are going to be 4 planets in Aquarius. And, some are moving fast, some are moving slow. So there's going to be a larger story of the global world, what we can do to make this work. There may be some sacrifices. That is something that is asked of an Aquarius, is not to sacrifice your individuality, but like not to have to be like number one, like center stage, like, oh, well, I'm an individual, but I'm here to help this. Like, I don't need accolades. I don't need someone to be praising me. I don't need awards. I'm here and I enjoy this. I'm still an individual, right? Like, still unique, but we're going to be really working on what we can do for the collective. And that's really the end of this week. It's a lot, but it's beautiful. And what I can say is I hope you find things that you can release, and I hope you find places that you can connect to source and know that new things are coming, new ways of the world being are coming. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and if we all do the work, it ripples through the collective. So with that, hit like, subscribe, give me your intuitions on this. It's been powerful for sure, and I'm going to go from doing every other two days to maybe a week just so that you can get a larger picture. With that, I'm Jennifer at Eureka Astrology and Healing. May the planets ground you and the stars guide you. Ciao for now.